students. This is second class for photosynthesis, and in this class we are studying about the mechanism of photosynthesis. In the last class we have seen the definition of photosynthesis, raw materials for photosynthesis, products of photosynthesis, and energy source for photosynthesis, then structure of chloroplast, then photosynthetic units, photosynthetic groups, pigment systems, and pigment system 1 and pigment system 2. All these things we have discussed. Today I am going to deal with the mechanism of photosynthesis. Mechanism of photosynthesis was first studied by F.F. Blackman, and F.F. Blackman for the first time discovered that photosynthesis takes place at least in 2 steps, and it is taking place in 2 steps. First step is controlled by light. It is called as depending upon light, and the second step is independent of light but depends upon the first step. So this is called as the mechanism of photosynthesis. F.F. Blackman for the first time named the 2 processes of photosynthesis as, first one as light reaction, then second one is dark reaction. Okay, dark reaction. Okay, light reaction means what? As the name itself is telling, the light reaction is the one which is depending upon light. If the sunlight is not there, this will not happen. So this is called as light reaction. And dark reaction means, it doesn't mean that it takes place only in dark or night, but it is the meaning, or it is to say that the dark reaction is independent of light. It doesn't require light. But one thing we have to remember, without the light reaction, so the dark reaction cannot take place, because the products of light reactions are utilized in the dark reaction. So that is why this particular light reaction and dark reaction are of 2 different types. Okay, now let us see what is light reaction. Light reaction is called by different names. I have told you already. First one is light dependent reaction, then Hill reaction, and second one is photo phase, and next one is Grana reaction. So many names are given, and these names all indicate that this is the light reaction. Okay, light reaction first we shall complete, and then we shall go to dark reaction. As soon as the light rays fall upon the leaves, one important thing takes place, that is the light rays go inside the leaves and they hit the chloroplast. And chloroplast, we know, it is made up of double membrane structure, and they cross, the light reactions cross the membrane and ultimately reach the grana. And in the grana, as I have told you already, so grana contains so many pigments, what you call the chlorophylls, and so many other pigments also, and these pigments absorb light. As the pigment systems absorb light, main harvesting molecule or the main pigment also gets the light, and other antenna molecules are also getting the light, and antenna molecules absorb the light and they transfer the absorbed light to the trapping center or the main pigment, that is chlorophyll A. And this mechanism of transfer of light from this pigment to this pigment, or ultimately to the reaction center, is called as inductive resonance. Okay. So now a group of molecules, when they absorb light, so this light ultimately reaches the trapping center. When the trapping center gets the light reaction begins. And when the light reaction begins, there are 3 steps involved in this. First one is called as photo excitation of chlorophyll. That is the first one. Second one is called as photolysis. of water. And the last one is called as photophosphorylation. So these three things are happening as soon as the light falls upon the chlorophylls. Okay, let us discuss one by one. What do you mean by chlorophyll excitation? Excitation of chlorophyll. Excitation of chlorophyll means, for example, you can see here chlorophyll when absorbs light. So chlorophyll loses one electron, it gets positively charged, and two electrons are liberated. So by losing two electrons, the chlorophyll is said to be excited. So that is ionized condition. How it happens? Say for example, this is the chlorophyll A, you can call, or you can call P700. When it absorbs a photon of light, when a light is absorbed, 2 photons or whatever it is, so the chlorophyll A atomically it is designed, and in the outermost orbit of the chlorophyll A, 2 electrons are present, and these 2 electrons are revolving. They are not stationary, they are revolving, and before the chlorophyll absorbs light, they are moving in opposite direction. One is clockwise and the other one is anti-clockwise. They are moving. As soon as they absorb light, both of them start moving in clockwise direction. Okay, so when the chlorophyll gets light, so that light is nothing but it is a form of energy, and that energy is absorbed by the electrons. Now electrons are highly charged, and these electrons will not remain in the outermost orbital of the chlorophyll, and ultimately these 2 electrons will go to the higher orbit if they leave the chloroplast. By losing 2 electrons, the chlorophyll is becoming charged. It is called as positively charged electron, and this particular chlorophyll is called as the photoexcited. But one thing I would like to tell you, very important aspect about this excitation. When the chlorophylls are emitted from the outermost orbit of the chlorophyll A, they go to higher orbit. Why they go to higher orbit? In the beginning, when the electrons are revolving in this orbit, so they are in the particular condition what is known as the ground state. In the ground state, when the electrons absorb light, so these electrons are now highly charged and they will not remain in that particular orbit. They go to higher energy orbit, and that is called as the excitation. But when the electrons have gone to higher orbit, so these electrons have to come back and occupy the same position within 10 raised to minus 9 seconds. Please remember the time. 10 raised to minus 9 seconds, they have to come back. Otherwise, the chlorophyll will die. So, these electrons have gone, and this particular state is called as a photoexcited. So, this chlorophyll plus is called as photoexcited. When the electrons come back and occupy the position here, so this particular chlorophyll becomes to ground state. That is called a neutral condition, because atom is electrically neutral. That means number of protons is equal to number of electrons. So this is called as photoexcitation. So this is first thing. Now the question comes, these electrons have gone with higher energy. With this energy, they will not come back to lower orbit. How they come? So here is a mechanism. Whatever energy is present in the electrons is now absorbed by other substances, and only original energy remains. When they lose the extra energy, automatically they will come back and occupy the position on the chlorophyll A. So this mechanism is called as photoexcitation. Before excitation, the chlorophyll is said to be in the neutral condition or in the ground state, and after excitation they go to higher orbital. That is after emission they go to higher orbital, and by doing so the chlorophyll is losing 2 electrons, and this phenomenon is called as photoexcitation. Okay, this is very important thing. And next thing is the photolysis of water. Van Neel, Robert Hill, they have conducted series of experiments and they have told that in the definition of photosynthesis we have seen that oxygen is released as a byproduct. So oxygen is released as a byproduct, no doubt. But now the question comes, which is the source of oxygen released during the photosynthesis? Because in the photosynthetic reaction we are observing water and carbon dioxide both. So carbon dioxide also has got oxygen, water also has got oxygen. So oxygen is released as a byproduct. Now the question is whether this oxygen comes from water or from carbon dioxide. So Van Neel, Robert Hill, so many workers have conducted series of experiments and they have proved beyond doubt that the water released in the photosynthesis comes from oxygen released in the photosynthesis comes from water, not from carbon dioxide. Now, I will take this here 4H2O. I will start with 4H2O. When the light is available in presence of chlorophyll and light, so it is broken down into 4H plus and 4OH minus. 4OH minus. So this is called as photoionization or photolysis of water. So what is the definition of photoionization? Photolysis of water, the breaking of water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions in presence of light with the help of chlorophyll is called as photolysis. Okay. Now 4OH minus again undergoes this one 4OH inert and 4 electrons are released here. And 4OH, it is finally given rise to 2H2O, that is called as hydrogen 2H2O. Okay, and this 2H2O, H2O2, you can write H2O2, and this hydrogen peroxide and 2H2O2. So finally gives rise to 2H2O plus oxygen. Oxygen released as a byproduct. So this is the series of experiment. Or finally, simply you can write H2O in presence of light and chlorophyll. So H2O plus H plus O2. Simply you can write final answer for this. Anyway, so this is called as the photolysis of water. Whatever oxygen we are using for our respiration now, so that comes from photosynthetic phenomenon during the photolysis of water. So water is broken down and it is liberating oxygen here. Now, for how many water molecules one molecule of oxygen is liberated? If 4 molecules of water are broken, 1 molecule of water is oxygen is available. But you know, 2 molecules of water are again given back to the chlorophyll molecules. So this is called as the photolysis of water. Or it is also called as photoionization of water. Okay, now the third part in this one is called as photophosphorylation. It is called as photophosphorylation. What is photophosphorylation? Before that, what is phosphorylation? Phosphorylation is nothing but it is the process of combining, or it is the process of addition of inorganic phosphate to ADP to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So that is called as phosphorylation. Since this phosphorylation is taking place in presence of light, it is called as photophosphorylation. Photo means light. In presence of light it is happening. So this is called as photophosphorylation. Okay. So here you can do here ADP plus PI. I will write here. PI means inorganic phosphate. in presence of light and with the help of chlorophyll molecule, it is converted into ATP. So addition of inorganic phosphate to ADP to produce ATP in presence of light and with the help of chlorophyll is called as photophosphorylation. So adenosine triphosphate, it is energy rich compound available in the plant which is used in the dark reaction. So ATP is called as energy coin. We shall discuss in detail during the respiration topic. Anyway, ATPs are produced here. So this is called as photophosphorylation. But in plants, two types of phosphorylations are existing, and usually it will be asked in the examination. Either two processes are there for the phosphorylation. Either this or that will be asked in the examination. So please see very carefully. So depending upon the pattern of movement of electrons, the photophosphorylation is classified into two types. One is called as cyclic photophosphorylation and another one is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Let us see one by one in detail. Say for example, we shall have the P700, that means the chlorophyll A, it absorbs photon of light. Say for example, 2 photon of light is absorbed with so many associated pigments. The electrons which are revolving in the outermost orbit, they got energy, and as usual with higher energy the electrons will not be settled in the original orbit, they jump to the next higher orbit because of the extra energy. So in here the electrons will go to the next higher orbital. 2 electrons are going to higher orbital. Okay. So when the 2 electrons are going to higher orbital, so there the 2 electrons are caught by one unknown substance, what is known as X. Try to understand here. The 2 electrons are emitted by the chlorophyll A, and these electrons, when they go to the next orbital, in that near that orbital some protein substances are available in the grana, and among them there is one compound called as X, because till today it is not named. Simply it is called as X molecule. So that X molecule absorbs the electrons, but it will not give back. So the chlorophyll will not allow to give the electrons permanently, but X is not ready to give back to chlorophyll molecule. So ultimately the X is absorbing the 2 electrons and got reduced. Addition of electrons is called as reduction reaction. They got reduced, and X is handovering the electrons to FRS. The 2 electrons are released to FRS, what is known as ferredoxin reducing substance. Ferredoxin reducing substance. So it is giving, and after giving to 2 electrons to this one, it comes to normal, but this FRS got reduced after absorbing 2 electrons, and FRS is handovering the electrons to another here, what is known as FD. So the 2 electrons are released here. So these 2 electrons are absorbed by FD, that is ferredoxin. FRS to FD it came, and from FD it is coming to PQ. I will not write the entire thing here, I will just write the abbreviations. PQ stands for the plastoquinone. The 2 electrons are absorbed by plastoquinone, and after plastoquinone it is absorbed by cytochrome F. 2 electrons are taken by cytochrome F, and it is given to cytochrome B6. Cytochrome B6 handovers to plastocyanin. Plastocyanin handovers electrons to again back to the chlorophyll. So ultimately whatever it is, whatever the thing has happened here, ultimately the 2 electrons have come over here, so this came to ground state. So all this drama takes place within 10 raised to minus 9 seconds. Please remember, all this taking, giving, all this drama, it is happening within 10 raised to minus, so fast it is. So now the 2 electrons are coming over here, two electrons. Ultimately, the two electrons have come and joined the chlorophyll molecule. The chlorophyll molecule came to ground state. Okay, everything has happened. So why we are calling this process as photophosphorylation? Because during the transfer of electrons from FRS to FD, ADP combines with inorganic phosphate, ATP is liberated. Whatever the energy present in the two electrons is taken, some amount of energy is taken and ATP is synthesized. So the electrons have lost some energy here, and between the transfer of electron from cytochrome F to cytochrome B6, ADP combines with inorganic phosphate to produce ATP. This phenomenon or this process is called as the phosphorylation. So what is phosphorylation after all? It is the combination of inorganic phosphate with ADP to produce ATP. This has happened here. So this is happening because of the light. So that is called as photophosphorylation. Okay. But this photophosphorylation is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. Why it is called as cyclic photophosphorylation? Because the electrons have started their journey from this point. They have gone to X to FRS, FRS to FD, FD to PQ, plastoquinone, cytochrome F, cytochrome B6, plastocyanin, and they came to the same point. You know, cycle means what? If you draw the cycle, the starting point is the same of the end point also. Starting point and end point remain the same. This structure is called as the cycle. So here also, the starting point of the electron and the end point of the electron is same. The pattern of movement of electrons is called as cyclic pattern, and this is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. And during cyclic photophosphorylation, two ATP molecules are liberated. So this is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. Very important, and you have to observe. You have to observe and you have to remember the things so very clearly. Okay. Now, during another thing happens here, photophosphorylation. One is called as cyclic. Why? Because in this cyclic photophosphorylation, the electrons are released from the chlorophyll. They go to X, and after being received and given by so many intermediate compounds, ultimately the same electrons come to the same point, that is the chlorophyll A. By doing so, electrons are moving in a cyclic manner. This phenomenon is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. Another one is here, that is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. And non-cyclic photophosphorylation is one where the electrons are moving in another thing, but the electrons are not moving in the cyclic pattern, they are moving in a non-cyclic pattern. We shall study now. So here, in this case, FRS is receiving the, see, for example, P700 is operating, P700 is absorbing the light, the electron will go to X here, X will hand over to FRS, FRS handovers to FD, no problem. But FD has to hand over the electrons to what? FD has to hand over electron to plastoquinone, but it will not hand over to plastoquinone, it will hand over to one more compound, what is known as R. R is the intermediate compound, which is a heme protein, and this R handovers electrons to NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and this nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate got reduced. Two electrons are taken by NADP. NADP will never give back electron. It will never, it is one way, only taking, no, not giving back. So NADP will hand over, it absorbs the two electrons, and these two electrons will not be given back. And in the meantime, if the same thing continues for a longer time, this will die. So that will not happen. So what is to be done is, another pigment system is present here, what is known as PS2. So this is called as PS1. So PS2, this means P680. That is also chlorophyll A. I have told you already, chlorophyll A is present in two forms. One is The chlorophyll A that can absorb red light, that is called as P700. The chlorophyll A that can absorb the blue light, that is called as P680. So that is now start operating after absorbing light. Light is absorbed and it will emit 2 electrons. Please remember, 2 electrons are emitted. 2 electrons are emitted from pigment system 1 is now in dilemma. But pigment system 2 is operating now. When the pigment system 2 is operated, so ultimately what happens is these electrons are absorbed by one compound called as FeO. So that is called as phaeophytin. Here the primary acceptor of electron is X. Here it is already identified what is known as phaeophytin. Phaeophytin. And this phaeophytin got reduced, and this phaeophytin handovers electrons to one intermediate compound R. And R handovers electrons to plastoquinone. Plastoquinone handovers to cytochrome F. Cytochrome F handovers to cytochrome B6. Cytochrome B6 to plastocyanin. Plastocyanin handovers electrons to pigment system 1. So this very intelligent thing is happening here. Electrons which are released from pigment system 2 have come and joined the pigment system 1. Is it cyclic? No. So now these electrons have come and joined pigment system 1. Pigment system 1 is happy because it becomes to ground state. But this pigment system 1 will not give back electron to pigment system 2. So this pigment system 2 will die. So at that time water comes to our help. So here you can see water, it breaks, I told you already, photolysis of water. It will hand over, 2 electrons are released. I will write the entire thing here. And 2 H plus are released here. And oxygen is released. Okay, this is what is known as photolysis of water. So it is suffering from shortage of 2 electrons. These 2 electrons will come and join here. This came to ground state. So the electrons given out by pigment system 1, they have come and arrested in pigment system 1. At that time, the electrons released by H2O, that is water. So those electrons came and joined pigment system 2. Pigment system 1 came to ground state. And ultimately, these 2H, see here NADP has taken 2 electrons and it is now suffering from negative charge. So these 2H plus, they go and join here, 2H plus, and now it is producing 2 NADPH2, highly reducing agent that is produced. So this is called as NADPH2. So all these things are happening here. So in this case, one important moment you have to observe, that the electrons are not at all moving in a cyclic manner. It is called as non-cyclic manner. So in the same time, when the cytochrome F is handovering electron to cytochrome B6, ADP combines with inorganic phosphate and ATP is produced here. ATP is produced. So phosphorylation is taken place. So photophosphor, because in both the cases the light is a main role here. So light is important for this phosphorylation to happen. So this phosphorylation needs what you call the light. So it is photophosphorylation. But now the question is whether this can be called as photophosphorylation or non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Since the electrons are moving in a non-cyclic manner, it should be called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation rather than cyclic photophosphorylation. So we have to understand there are 2 types of photophosphorylation. One is cyclic, another one is non-cyclic. In cyclic photophosphorylation, the electrons are starting from P700 or the pigment system 1 and they come back and join the pigment system 1. By doing so, they are producing 2 ATP molecules. But here, the electrons released in by the pigment system 1, they are absorbed by NADP, and the electrons released by pigment system 2, they are accepted by pigment system 1, and the electrons released due to the photolysis of water, they are joining pigment system 2. By this time, NADP is oxidized or reduced to what you call the oxidized to NADPH2. So this is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Now what is the difference between cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation? So in cyclic photophosphorylation, only one pigment is sufficient. Only P700 is enough. No another pigment. But in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both the pigment systems are operating. In cyclic, only pigment system 1 is operated, but in in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both the pigment systems are operating. One. And second important thing is, in cyclic photophosphorylation, 2 electrons are liberated, 2 ATPs are liberated, but in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, only 1 ATP is liberated. And in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, one important thing is produced, that is NADPH2, and this NADPH2 is very much used during the dark reaction, which I'll discuss later. So NADPH2, and very important thing, that is oxygen is released as a byproduct, which is very important for animals, so organisms. So this is called as the important thing. So if at all we need oxygen to be released, so the non-cyclic photophosphorylation has to take place. Otherwise, only if the cyclic photophosphorylation takes place, there is no production of oxygen. So here oxygen is produced and the NADPH2 is produced, 1 molecule of ATP is produced. 3 things are produced here. But in cyclic photophosphorylation, only 2 ATPs are produced, nothing more than that. But in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, NADPH2, highly reducing power, which is used in the Calvin cycle or in the dark reaction, and oxygen and ATP molecules are produced. So all these things are very important. By this, light reaction is completed. And all these reactions which are taking place here, they are taking place in the grana of the chloroplast. But in the grana of the chloroplast, we are observing, so this is the chloroplast. So here we are observing pile of coin-like structure, and this is the structure. So this is called as thylakoid. Okay, thylakoid, and this is called as the fret. The connection between 2 thylakoids is called as the fret. But in the fret region, cyclic photophosphorylation takes place, and in the thylakoid region, non-cyclic photophosphorylation takes place. With this, we have completed the what is known as the light reaction. And after the light reaction is completed, so next thing which is taking place is the dark reaction, because the products of light reaction, for example, NADPH, of course, oxygen comes out. It will not take part in the dark reaction, but NADPH2 and ATP released in the cyclic photophosphorylation, ATP released in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, they are best utilized in the dark reaction. So that we shall see in the next class. So go through the notes, go through the video class, and if you have any doubt, of course, this is photosynthesis is nothing but it is a biochemical reaction. It needs very much concentration and very much attention. So you feel free to ask me anytime. I will be very happy to help you. So you please contact me. I will clarify the doubts. So this is the light reaction. Tomorrow we shall see the dark reaction of photosynthesis. Thank you.